Welcome, everybody, and hello, my name's Colin, and this is Murder Casserole. Yeah, this is Portland's favorite true crime talk show. We're going to talk some murder. We're going to do some comedy. We're live streaming it on YouTube. Oh, boy, make some noise for the live stream. Make some noise for those incels in Indiana tuning in every month. That's our main demographic. Hell yeah. How you guys doing? You guys good? Yeah. How'd you find out about the show? Facebook. Was it in a group? I have to know this. It's for my metrics. You just found me? Just this beautiful face staring at you from a screen. And you're like, yeah, we're going to go watch him talk blood. Hell yeah. Clap for that guy. Yeah. They stood right by it. They didn't even back away when I made them look like creeps. We love that. We love that. Let's do some spooky jokes. We got some spooky jokes. Let's do them, all right? First spooky joke. Hey, what did Igor say to Dr. Frankenstein when the doc asked him to go out and buy some lotion? He said, yes, Master Beta. Yeah, spooky jokes. Pretty spooky. All right. How does this show work, you might be thinking? We're going to do some true crime. I got 3 comics. I got a panel of 3 very funny people from all over Oregon going to come up here. I'm going to sit them down. We're going to do a true crime story, and we're going to do some stand-up after. Does that sound like a plan, folks? Yeah, let me hear you howl for it. Ow! There it is. There it is. Spooky joke number 2. Spooky joke number 2. Hey, what do you call a non-Jewish ghost who's haunting a Jewish family? A poltergeist. Poltergeist. Because goy. Yeah. It's always better when I explain it, right? That's what makes jokes work, is when you take away all the mystery. Yeah. Spooky jokes. Oh, my God. Yeah, what a beautiful room. Can we give a round of applause for Covert Cafe? For the folks here, for Cody and Joe behind the bar, make some noise. Slinging your suds and grilling up your boigas. Oh, my God. So tasty. And the food's not bad either. Pretty spooky. And let's make some noise for our man on the 1s and 2s, Joe Mishkin in the back. Hell yeah, doing the film and doing it all. Oh my God, such a good time. We're going to have fun tonight, folks. You guys ready to have some fun with me? We do a theme here on Murder Casserole. I pick 3 true crime cases on a certain theme, you understand? And then I like to run through them all. So what's the theme for this month? We're doing Angels of Mercy killers. Yeah. One dude knows a whole lot about it, and his mom is dead now. If you don't know, Angel of Mercy's killers are killers who usually find some indication that their victim deserves it in some way, or that they would be welcoming death. That's the criteria. We're going to talk more about it. We got some examples, all right? But we're not there yet. You mushheads. There we go. Thank you, Joe. Joe had to remind me of the nickname I came up with for all of this show's fans. Yeah, but we got one more spooky joke. We got to do the spooky joke, all right? What do you call it when you want to commit necrophilia on your latest victim in front of your extensive collection of G.I. Joes? Call that cracking open a cold one with the boys. Ayo! Spooky jokes! You guys love those. You guys are going to love the rest. It's more of that. It's a lot more of that. Let's get it started, all right? Let's bring your first panelist up there. You guys ready for your first panelist? Oh, my God. This dude comes to us from Eugene, but he's all over the fucking place. He's been here before. He's a great guy. He might have looked like he pooped himself. He did. He didn't want me to bring it up. He wanted me to confirm that he didn't, and then I just brought it up. But anyways, this is the long, dumb intro. Make some noise for my buddy Nathan Hart! We got to hug. We got to make sure the guests feel loved. Gotta make sure. I gotta do a little do-si-do.
And we had to give them enough time to really check out the back of my pants.
Oh, yeah. We gotta let them get it. Look at us.
It was a big mistake. Hey, if you own a white suit don't eat chocolate in your car. Just don't fuck around. There's no reason to do that to yourself.
There's no reason at all.
Yeah.
But I like that. I like that you owned up to it, and I like that you dressed up nice. Look at us.
I figured, you've got like suits and stuff on this show.
I have one jacket that I bought at a St. Vincent de Paul thrift store 9 years ago. And it's just my show jacket now. Yeah.
This whole thing, this is all thrift store.
Nice. Did you get the boots?
Yep.
Look at us, boot boys.
Yeah,
Look at the boots.
Oh,
Look at the boots.
Look at that.
We both did boots.
I'm almost never on stage with someone also wearing cowboy boots.
Yeah, look at us.
You know?
Don't cover them up. Leave it hiked. Show some calf.
All right.
Coward.
I'll tuck
there
it
we
in.
go. There we go. Yeah. Now you look like the guy who gets Ted Nugent in his whippets.
I mean, someone's got to keep
Someone's got to keep the guy loose. When
whip.
he gets tight and stressed out, that's when he gets gnarly, you know?
Yeah.
Starts talking about clubbing baby seals.
Is that... I thought Nugent was the one that was into, like, shooting pigs out of a helicopter or something.
Well, he's into all of it, dude.
Oh,
you don't,
okay.
I can tell you from experience from hosting a true crime show, you don't kill one living animal without having a bit of the end to kill more.
Okay.
You know? And there's certain species that it's okay. Squirrels, mostly. I'd say kill the squirrels.
Okay, that's a pretty murdery thing to say, Colin.
Squirrels are pestilential. They'll fuck up your crops. So they'll fuck up your shit.
Is that true?
They're not. Yeah.
Squirrels are a for farmers?
They can be. Yeah, 100%.
I don't. Yeah.
It's also like I would rather have rednecks that knew how to shoot well. And if you grow up like me in the country, you learn how to shoot on squirrels because they're small, and you can start out with a small gun. This is weird. I didn't want to do any of this.
Yeah.
We have a new person that walked in, and they immediately turned their back to the squirrel killing news. How's it going? How are you?
A lot of big squirrel fans out here.
We're just squirrels. All right, let's crack open the book, the murder casserole book. Yeah.
Let's fucking
this big spooky book. It looks like a Bible, but it's just full of death.
Yeah. Let's bury this nut.
Yeah. So we're doing Angels of Mercy, Nathan. Do you know anything about this phenomenon, this theme, or anything?
Angels of Mercy. Was that
Angels of Mercy killers?
So Mercy killers, right?
Yeah,
like Kevorkian.
Yeah, he would fit into this, I suppose.
Yeah. Where he assisted suicide, right?
Well, that is usually Angels of Mercy is how they see themselves. I think Kevorkian might be the weird exception where he truly was one.
Yeah,
you know, and not an angel. Those aren't real. But sorry. But I think it's more in the perception of the killer thinks, oh, I'm doing them, and it's usually an excuse to get away with something more nefarious like money or sex.
It's always that's the big two reasons for murder.
The big two reasons for murder.
Yeah.
So these are no different. It's just there's a few extra steps. You understand?
Yeah.
A few more infrastructure built up.
Some extra moralizing at the end.
Yeah.
They were
in the beginning and during. But let me ask you something, Nathan. What career do you think you'd be in if you were sexually aroused by people near death?
I hate this question.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, the answer you should be afraid of is comedian.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's the worst answer to that.
Yeah.
I
do call it killing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would be like an ambulance driver, or like because the guys in the morgue, they're already like they're cold already. I feel like that's not really what they're going for.
I hate to break it to you, but that is usually a big.
It's
usually a big job for necrophiliacs is
right.
mortuary workers.
I mean, logically, that makes a ton of sense.
It's right there. Make lemons out of lemonade.
But they're not.
Wait.
Your phrasing was close to death.
Yeah,
not
close
dead.
Near death. Yeah,
near death.
They like the rattle.
Yeah. And if they're in the morgue, then that's already like that.
Yeah, that's a different level. You're not aroused by near death. You're aroused by death.
Right.
Cold.
Yeah.
Sexy death.
Yeah. What do you? Is it like a demi-necrophiliac or something? Does anyone have any?
I just call
What's
it Angels
the terminology
of Mercy.
here? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just call it Angel of Mercy.
If you want them to be dying but not dead, though, what is that? What kind of philiac is that?
Oh, dying, but a Dick Van Dyke-philiac, because I feel like he's been mostly dead for a long time.
Yeah.
But it also has the word dyke in it, which just seems problematic.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I can't.
I know
say
I
that.
said it, but
I can't say it.
I was raised by them. I feel like that gives me cred.
I think more than the rest of us, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to get into it.
Yeah, let's not. Let's go talk about.
So let's
fucking
talk
dead
about.
people.
It's a better distraction to go to murder from here. So the case we're talking about with you is the lady herself, Jolly Jane Toppin. Oh yeah, this is an old timey true crime case. This happens in the 1800s. Has anybody heard, by round of applause, has anybody heard about Jolly Jane Toppin or Jane Toppin? Oh, sweet. This is going to be new to you. This is a lady who, I guess, demi-necrophiliac could be a good description. She had a real thing for being really sexually aroused when someone was very near death. And the thing that would, like, put it over the edge is she had to get them there first. And then after that point, well, you might as well kill them.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, if
she
they're
got
already
what you needed.
Yeah, they're already wiped out, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Jane's birth name was Honora Kelly, and she was born to an abusive, drunk Irish father in Boston. Weren't we all? She grew up mostly in girls' orphanages with her older sisters, who eventually supported this little trio of sisters with sex work money. So that's how they were able to get out of the orphanage. And when she was a teenager, young Honora went to work as an indentured servant for the Toppin family. And then when she left their employ servitude, whatever you want to call it, she took their name and started going by Jane, because there's a lot of anti-Irish sentiment at that time in the Northeast.
Isn't it so funny how often you can just get out of that sort of xenophobia stuff by just changing your name?
Just change it.
Just
Jane Toppin is a lot better than Honora Kelly.
Now no one fucking knows.
It's Nora with a ho at the beginning. That was her birth name.
Yeah.
Ho Nora. And we all knew one Nora that was a ho. That's my godchild's name, I'm just realizing.
Yep, I
really stepped in it there.
Yep,
I didn't even need to say that. I could have just had that as a thought.
Hope they don't have YouTube.
Yeah, but why would? But she changed her name to go become a nurse. Nathan, why would you ever be compelled to change your name? What circumstances would have to go down for that?
Let's see, crime. Yeah, that would be the big one, right? Is like if you do a big crime, but you can't even really get away with that shit anymore.
No,
it's like people would be even if I changed my name on Facebook or whatever, they can still hunt me down.
And to do it legally, there's a paper trail.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff going
Pain
on.
in the ass.
So, I mean, it would be more of it would be more symbolic than anything, and then I'd probably change it to something really badass,
like Phoenix Superstar,
right? Yeah,
Ziggy Poop Deck.
Right, yeah, it's like the only reason I would change is if I wanted a stage name, I guess.
Yeah.
That seems more helpful than avoiding crimes with it at this point.
Thrift Shop Jesus.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Goodwill Nazarene. I like Goodwill Nazarene.
That's
pretty good.
That's actually a pretty good name.
Because then you could be Goody. You're Goody.
There's a lot going on there. Yeah.
Man, all right. See you next year. I'll manage you. It's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
You'll lose so much money. So she earned the nickname Jolly Jane Toppin because she was so nice. She was the nicest nurse on any ward. She was super like, oh yeah, let's stick a needle in you today. You know how nurses are. But she started killing older patients in her care via injections of morphine or epinephrine. She would be testing the amounts to give them to where it could bring them really close to death, where they would be like starting to kind of die, and then that fucking got her fucking moist, dude.
So she's really just into edging.
Yeah, she's the ultimate edger. She's the ultimate edge lady.
Yeah, it's the edgiest of edging.
It is, because she's getting them right there, and then she would sometimes like bring them back to life, and then she could be the hero. So that's how you get it. There's a lot of overlap of Angels and Mercy and Munchausen by proxy.
Right.
Where you want the attention of being the hero. But then also it's like a god complex. It's like, oh, you're totally in my control.
Right,
I think that's what she found sexy.
Yeah,
Sex usually comes down to control of some kind. How you feeling right now with me?
I'm just thinking about it. It's like sometimes I can't get hard after like 4 beers. I can't imagine if I'm on morphine.
You're right. Oh yeah, no. It's
like,
probably. I don't think she was fucking him. I think she maybe was just like snuggling, and then she'd go flick her bean in the bathroom. Or
okay. Yeah,
I'm editorializing at this point.
We're just making assumptions.
Yeah. But that would be pretty spooky.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah. So she eventually, and then she later became. Keeps getting fired from hospital jobs. Shocker, because people keep winding up dead around her. You understand? So eventually, the only job she can get is taking care of the elderly Mrs. Davis at home. She gets hired to live in the Davis home. It's this big, like Cape Cod kindy house, big old money Boston suburb family, understand? And eventually she murdered not only the mother who was sick, but the father who was perfectly healthy, one of their daughters who came by to check, and two daughters before that from an extended part of the family. Two nieces who came to like check up on the mother, on their aunt and uncle.
Whoa.
And she was like, why don't you stay for a while? Have a cup of tea. And then we get progressively sicker over a week, and then they would just die. And then she was also getting to live in this big fancy house with just sick people. I think that's part of it, too. It's an economic. She came from poverty. It's probably a little bit of a way to move up the social chain in a very twisted way. I mean...
Personally, this feels kind of like a fool me twice kind of situation.
Yeah, no shit,
You
right?
know, where it's like after your second family member dies in that house under Jolly Jane, I feel like you don't fucking drink the tea.
But the Jolly Jane thing is what threw suspicion off her for so long, because she was so nice with the grieving families.
Right.
They would leave like 1800s versions of Yelp reviews, which I guess is just sending a quail with a little note on its foot. And they would say like, oh, Jane was so nice when my mother passed away, not knowing she was probably the one who fucking done it.
She killed her.
Yeah, but she got this like ego hit from being like nice to the family afterwards, which I think is also part of the whole game. I think that made her snarch extra hard.
Yeah.
Is snarch a bad word for woman cum?
I'm not.
Or is it kind of perfect?
You might have just coined it or something.
I think I've heard that before.
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna make her fucking...
Has anyone ever heard snarched before?
Snarch, you
No,
snarch real
I didn't
good.
think so. Yeah.
I mean, it's onomatopoetic, isn't it? Like, it feels... Because it's kind of like... I don't know. Let's not get any further into it. But it took...
I mean, this was like the 1800s, right?
Yeah,
so like
late 1800s.
People just were dropping dead for no reason all the time anyway.
Well, you know what the saddest thing is? When the mother died and then the father died like a month or so after, nobody suspected her at all, Jane at all, because it was like, oh, he must have died of a broken heart. He just lost his wife.
Yeah.
You know, and they're a little bit old. They're in like their 60s, you know, so it's like 1890. That's not a crazy time to die. That's a full life, you know.
Right, that's a full life. Yeah.
So it doesn't look weird. Now, when the kids started dying because they just showed up to deal with the will, that's when someone should have. And it is what happened, because a distant relative eventually was like, they were all perfectly healthy before this fucking nurse showed up.
Yeah.
And now she's living high on she had altered wills. So like she got the house when certain ones died. So like she was definitely profiting off of this. But has there ever been a whole family you wanted to kill, Nathan? I like to slide into the interview questions real organic.
Yeah, Jesus. And all the interview questions are like, what are your darkest fantasies?
Yeah, it's murder casserole. This ain't leave your troubles at the door. This is bring your troubles on stage.
Yeah.
Doing that show on Friday. Come out.
This is still one of the better casseroles I've had. Casseroles they're not good.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was what I meant by
Rough.
that. Yeah,
Rough.
yeah. Sorry.
No,
Whoa,
that's fine.
okay.
Yeah, no, it's called, again, like...
I didn't expect everyone to be so Team Colin already, you know?
Yeah.
I mean... Like, there's this one family that's kind of, like, running the country and stuff, and I guess I wouldn't super mind if they... If it took like a week and they all died one month, like that wouldn't be the worst thing to happen.
I want Melania to get away. I think she suffered enough.
Yeah.
I imagine that guy has to be hell to breathe the same air as.
Well, you know, she would definitely like if
she'd be the one to do it all.
Yeah, if he dropped, like she's squanching.
Oh. Snarching.
Sorry, I don't know.
Squanches Rick and Morty will get a cease and desist for that, man.
Right. Whoops. Okay. Sorry, everybody.
Snarch. Yeah. Pretty snarchy. No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Davis cousins eventually got on her ass about it, and when she was in captivity, she was killed. But often with these Angels of Mercy killers, it's these are record setters. Like these are like Dr. Harold Shipman in England killed upwards of like 300. And they estimate now, based on how long she was in it and when they charted her first one and how many hospitals she moved around to, if she kept up her like rate, it's It's like RBI for killers.
Right.
And then it's like then it would her numbers could be in like the 60s, 70s. More accurately,
Wow.
yeah. Just these are ones that do not get investigated, and it's stories like this because she was kind of the OJ of her time. This is a big media blitz when this happened.
Yeah.
And I love it how people are like, true crime is really big now. I'm like, always have been. People are dark little fuckers, and they want to know about the stabby choke poison time.
It's so crazy.
Should we rename the show?
You had to like get the news delivered by a person back then.
Yeah, there's
You
just
know?
some dude who looks like Pygmy Me with the little newsy cap going, this lady poisoned people. Extra, extra.
And everyone's like, holy shit, I got to read about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. Okay.
despite insisting that she was totally sane and she knew she was one she was just like, they should try me for murder. Like, I'm not crazy. Like, I knew what I was doing. I knew it was wrong. She copped to the whole sexual arousal thing. She's like, I did it, but sometimes it's very arousing to have someone dying right in front of you and you know you could save them and then you just don't.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about that the next time you visit your mom.
To me, it's so weird to be talking to the cops and be like, and then I came.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like,
the only way I would talk to cops is if I could then end it with, and then I came.
And
It's
then I
like,
came. And I
Why'd you
just-
throw that brick through the Wells Fargo window? And then I came.
I was trying to nut. I don't know what to tell you. It's,
Civil disobedience gets me off.
I just.
Pretty spooky. So anyways, despite all of that, despite her saying, I knew what I was doing, I knew that it was not good, she was found not guilty by reason of insanity. I think this is mostly due to a weird, like, I would call it a merciful misogyny in our legal system, which extends to this day. I think it's part of the reason that, like, Casey Anthony got off a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just this thing is like, you couldn't picture a woman being horrible. She must be crazy. She wouldn't just do that for the reasons a guy would do that.
I thought you were going to say in that time period you couldn't picture a woman enjoying sex.
That too. That probably
Where
made
it's
her
like,
seem crazier. They were like, nah,
Nah, she's nuts. No way.
female orgasm, that only happens in books from Prussia in the 1600s. And
Right.
they turn into a werewolf after.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just saw Nosferatu.
Uh-huh.
That's not even in that movie. But anyways. So she was committed to a Massachusetts asylum for the rest of her days, dying at the age of 84 in 1935. And she helped
Whoa.
out. Yeah, she lived a while, dude.
Yeah.
And she maintained the whole time. She's like, I could kill again if they let me. And they kind of almost did. You got to wonder. They let her work in the fucking infirmary.
What the fuck?
And it's an asylum. The whole thing's technically an infirmary.
Yeah.
So she
Yeah.
could. I don't think she. Well, I don't know. I don't think she would kill crazy women. I think that'd be too easy. That's like fish in a barrel at that point, right?
It's like not enough mercy.
yeah.
or
Once you
something.
got a fucking Cape Cod house via murder,
Yeah.
you don't want to
Yeah.
kill some crazy bitch.
Man, this lady really loves killing people in hospitals.
Yeah.
Let her hang out in a hospital
Also, my fun
for
fact:
punishment.
she became a proto Etsy merchant. She made doilies and sold them to her fellow inmates.
Wow.
Yeah, that was how she filled her days.
Huh.
So let me ask you before we move on to the news: what's your go-to asylum activity?
Let's see. Oh man, doilies is pretty good.
Making
where it's like
doilies.
something to do with your hands.
Yeah.
I could probably get into like knitting scarves and
Yeah.
shit, like something like that.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't think they'd let you do scarves because you can hang yourself with it.
That's true. You'd want to be just doing like baby blankets and whatnot.
Yeah, like a nice sock.
Yeah. You look like you'd run a chess table in an insane asylum.
Okay, that would be pretty badass.
Yeah,
though, 'cause-
you would just be like, no,
Then it
bring
doesn't-
the new boy.
right.
Like, 'cause
It doesn't even matter what you're doing. It looks like you've got a sinister plot. in mind, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, where it's like I'm like Magneto.
Yeah.
Like, welcome in, knight to E6 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, or like Bobby Fischer if someone would have just fucking nutted up and put him in an asylum.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that guy was crazy.
Yeah. Different kind of nutted up that we were
Different
talking about
kind
the
of
rest of
nutted
this
up,
whole
yeah.
time. Yeah.
But that's the story of Jolly Jane. Make some noise for it. Yeah. All right, Nathan. We got a news segment for you. We're going over true crime news, all right?
Okay.
We call this the Gory Gazette. Oh boy, let's talk about it. So, first one here. A Colorado woman has been convicted of murdering her boyfriend with help from a bus rando because apparently the boyfriend had told the woman she was unemployable.
Wow.
Yeah. This is the opposite of a crime of passion. It's a crime of blasé.
Yeah.
It's like the most normal circumstances
Yeah.
everybody deals with, and this lady's just like, I'm going to find a dude who has a gun on this bus, and I'm killing my boyfriend tonight because I didn't get hired at Chick-fil-A.
How great. Like, imagine not just putting the Indeed app back on your phone.
Yeah, no shit,
You know,
right?
it's like, I think I got to kill a person over this.
No,
Somebody
but
sure?
it's like I read this story. It's the slow downturn of a relationship where he's just like doesn't have confidence. He's like, you can't get a job. You haven't worked for years. What are you trying to get a job for? You're not going to get that job you're going for. And finally, she just snapped when she met the right crackhead on a bus.
Yeah.
Who gave her a fake name, and they're like, we have no record of this guy. He's out of it. So it's like, did she make it up? It's a weird story, man. It's weird. It's not getting a whole lot of
So
coverage.
the guy on the bus just disappears?
Yeah.
Wow.
He just fucking
He's
leaves.
just out there
Yeah,
somewhere.
He's just out. And apparently he was the one who shot the guy, and she went down for it.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's weird. They're looking for the dude, but
I didn't know you could get in trouble for convincing someone else. Oh, I guess.
Yeah,
it's like
murder.
a whole thing.
It's
Yeah. I know that.
You didn't know you
As
could
I was
get,
saying that out loud, I was like, wait a
Hold
second.
on. Did you think that if I
Colin,
If
I think I gotta go.
Let me see your pack of your pants. No, no, all right, let's do it. Yeah, if you say the cops don't give a okay. If you say no, I just asked him to kill somebody.
Right. I gave him $20.
The same thing. Yeah, no. So, by the way, we got another murder for hire plot. 3 men in Illinois are charged with a murder for hire plot, which killed the new girlfriend of one of the dudes' ex-wife. So a divorce happens, the wife starts dating a woman, the ex-husband gets two guys together, and they kill the ex-wife's new girlfriend. Very bad. I don't like it one bit.
Yeah, that's a really complicated web.
Yeah, tell me again how gay people are the threat, though. Sure looks like they're the ones getting killed. It's upsetting. It's upsetting. At least when us queers kill people, we do it like Dahmer. Give you a drink and drugs first. You know.
Really slip. Really,
and then we're going to eat some parts. It's drinks and dinner.
I have no commentary.
You know what you say to that? You know what you say to that?
What?
Pretty spooky.
Pretty spooky.
I'm going to keep doing it, all right? The catchphrase usually kills. Cody, everybody, that's your bartender back there.
That was actually an agreement, boo.
Yeah, that was an agreement. That was boo-boo.
He's also being spooky over there.
Yeah, he's being spooky.
Pretty spooky.
That was a positive one. Okay, last news piece. Luigi Mangione fans have expressed concern over his safety after learning that he's been wearing a turtle suit in prison. Do you know what a turtle suit is?
No, I don't know what that is.
It's a different colored prison smock that says you're a suicide risk.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, because if you're wearing that, they think it'll be easier to kill him and then say, well, he was on suicide watch, you know?
Right.
Jeffrey Epstein's ghost was quoted as saying, ooh, I've seen this one before. Those jokes still work. The Epstein didn't kill himself jokes still work.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's pretty relevant.
If Luigi Mangione kills himself, he didn't kill himself.
Well, I mean,
I don't know. This seems like a bad state of affairs to be in, having all the leftist punk girls want to suck your dick.
Oh, what a tragedy.
I know.
Of course, the one thing we know he's good at is killing rich dudes.
So, you know what?
And he's pretty well off himself.
There we go. So you know what?
You know, he's just in there checking his own privilege.
Yeah, I'm happy with the ruling class killing themselves off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You know, maybe that was what Epstein was doing, too. Maybe he did kill himself, and it was actually a class consciousness thing.
You know what, Nathan?
We
can
really
only hope.
Yeah.
Well, that's Nathan Hart. Everybody make some noise for him. Hell yeah, buddy. Good shit. I can't say no to that now. Do you like how I put the microphone into your chest for the hug? That's good times. We're moving right along, folks. Moving right along. All right. This next comic panelist you got coming up, he hosts the shows down at my father's place, and he's a good buddy of mine. Make some noise for Michael Phelps. Have a seat, Phelps.
Thanks,
how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm swell. How are you, man?
Well, I'm swollen.
swollen.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I feel puffy. I feel generally okay.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I'm a puffy guy. It's all right.
Yeah, it comes with being jolly.
Yeah. Am I? Yeah, I guess I am jolly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Huh, fuck yeah.
I mean, we all know it's a facade, and inside is
Oh,
a vortex of rage. But that's, it just
All right,
comes
I was
with
gonna have you
being
bump my mic after that compliment, and now if I do it, it seems bad. But no, this is nice. This is nice. Do you know anything about Angels of Mercy killers? Are you familiar with this phenomenon?
I mean, I am now after hearing about it for the last 10 minutes.
Oh, all right. Yeah, but this is kind of fun. This is a very specific one that I got for you. This is a weird one. I hadn't heard anything
right.
about this before I decided on this theme. This is a weird case. So, Michael, if you had a horrible illness, what kind of cures out of left field would you try, and why would it be enemas?
I just like to keep it real clean down there.
Yeah.
And I assume that the ailment will have something to do with my butt because I've got a bad digestive system.
Oh, do you?
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, yeah, it's gonna have some. This is a very weird case. This is a case of an Angels of Mercy case combined with almost like a cult. It's like Angels of Mercy mixed with some cultishness, mixed with some quack doctory. You understand? So we're
Okay.
talking about the case of Linda Hazard and her sanatorium. Have you heard about
old
Linda?
Linda, of course.
Have you heard of
yeah.
Linda?
No, absolutely not. Has
Listen.
anyone heard of Linda?
Have you heard? Anybody heard of Linda Hazard? This does not get
No.
talked about, and I find this story fucking terrifying. If there needs to be a horror movie of this,
I'm excited.
like with like a health, because she was basically the 1920s version of like a health nut, like a Jillian Michaels, really controversial health cures. That's like anything you do can be fixed by just starving yourself. Or massive fasting mixed with
Kate
enemas.
Moss approach.
Yeah, so it's just a horrible, like, and what happened was, so, okay, let's back it up. Let's back it up, all right? Linda Hazard was born in Minnesota in 1867 and studied alternative medicine as a young woman. Never
course
really,
she did.
yeah, never earning a degree in anything. She called herself a doctor for the rest of her life. She was not a doctor. She did real like Trump University type shit. You understand?
Yeah,
Also,
Dr. Phil style.
yeah, exactly. So, but she managed to get a doctor's license in Washington, the state, due to a loophole. Like, there's just a loophole that you can get a license to practice medicine if you say it's specifically alternative medicine. Then you can say you have whatever fucking credentials you got, and you can get a license.
Okay.
So, have you ever abused a loophole?
I mean, yeah, of course.
All right, good.
I can't.
All right, too
that's-
vague. You ever expose poop hole loophole? Ever abused one of those?
A poop hole loophole?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Oh, you don't know the poop hole loophole?
No.
Oh,
Please
is anybody
educate
else
me.
familiar with the poop hole? This is not true crime based. This is goodness. A poop hole loophole is when you want to have sex. Like generally, it's if you want to have sex with someone with a vagina, but they don't want to give up their vaginal virginity
Oh.
because they think that that's like anti-religious. So like Catholic girls are big into the poop hole loophole, where it's like they'll let you do butt stuff, but not put it in the puss.
Yeah, well, I grew up in Portland where being Catholic is illegal, so
All right,
we
well,
didn't deal with that in high school. That was more just like,
That-
that's fifth base.
also known as an inside the park home run.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what that
yeah.
is. That's, yeah.
It's messy and chaotic. That's for sure.
And people are really don't want it to happen out in the back.
No,
You know,
no
it's
one's
not
rooting
fun.
for an inside the park home run.
No. So our friend Linda, by the way, Linda Hazard is a fucking cool name. Like, let's just say that. If I don't see a drag queen in the next couple of years as Linda Hazard, I'm going to be upset.
Yeah.
Like it evokes Dukes of Hazzard, but this lady was old money. So she opened up a sanatorium in Olalla, Washington in 1908, which alleged that, like I said, any physical, mental malady could be fixed via fasting, enemas, and here's the one that's really coming out of left, beating. She just flogged the sickness out of people. That was her theory. She's like, we're going to not let you're going to eat a cup of broth all day. We're going to shoot hot water and salt up your ass. And then my buddies are going to hit you a bunch.
Wow, this really sounds like Nazis.
Pay up, please. She charged people for this. One of the people she took care of was a state representative from Washington, and he later died under her care.
Oh, yeah, she wasn't a real doctor.
No, I keep saying doctor terms, but that's not. At least Jane took care of him for a little while.
I feel like most real doctors aren't jumping at the bit to put anything up your butt. What, is there a doctor in the house?
Are you doctor, or are you just familiar with that request?
Oh, nice.
From being a doctor. Oh, congratulations.
Congrats.
Oh, yeah, round of applause. Yeah, that's cool. Good for you. Well, if anything seems super wrong that I say up here tonight, please keep it to yourself. I need credibility for the live stream. Credible people, live streamers. So let me ask you, what would you wait, hold on, sorry, I skipped ahead. People would check in to this sanatorium hoping to be treated for things like cancer,
Oh, yeah.
bone diseases, simple things like depression and addiction and anxiety. They'd just be like, somehow this is going to help. She was like the new wave, and she got some attention. She was getting grants. She was being able to run this.
She was getting grants.
So
by going hey, your depression, it's going to cure that? Chemicals up your ass.
yeah. And very basic and just
Honestly,
not
it's
eating.
not the worst idea.
Not the worst. I mean, I think there was an idea that food was getting more processed at that time, is turn of the century. So she was probably one of the people who was read Upton Sinclair's The Jungle or whatever, and was like, food is bad for you. We're eating too much food. We got to dial it back with the food, which is dumb. But
her whole business model could have been derailed by bidets.
100%. Oh my God!
Hey, look, they have these in other countries, so you can install one here. And she's like, God damn it, I'm fucked.
Well, she went to another country. We're gonna get to it, but anyways, let me ask you real quick, just because what would you put up your ass to fix cancer?
Anything that would
just
fit up
give it
there.
a shot. Yeah.
Anything that was shaped correctly.
A couple of C batteries.
Yeah, it was electrifying.
Hey, did you hear the Energizer Bunny got arrested?
Hit me with the punchline.
Yeah, the charge was battery.
Oh.
Yeah, pretty
There it is.
spooky. Hey,
There
you know
it
what they
is.
say about these bad jokes? They keep going and going and go. All right, that's a hat on a hat. All right. But anyways, after 3 years and 13 dead people, a family member of Ida and Dorothea Williamson, these were two sisters who went there for care.
Those names sound so fake.
So they're telling, but these are rich, people who think they're doing something revolutionary. You
yeah.
understand? That's why the state rep got in there. He thought it was being cool, And these two women die, and then one of their family members comes and because she visits the sanatorium and goes, "These people are just fucking starving. Call the cops." She gets out. Here's the weird thing: Hazard gets convicted of manslaughter, but only served 4 years. And this is after they found out that the 13 people who died under her care had altered wills right before they died, which, who guessed it, funneled a lot of their assets into the sanatorium. And Hazard herself. She was the power of attorney for the Williamson sisters. That's not supposed to happen if you're not a close friend or a member of the family.
That also seems like a conflict of interest with a doctor.
No shit, right?
Yeah.
No shit. Kind of violates the Hippocratic Oath. Though,
does.
as I pointed out, she never took that. So technically, she's kind of within her right. This is rich people murky.
Yeah,
hey,
those people were giving her money for all of these services.
all the
They
things
were
that she was
signing
doing.
on.
She didn't. There's no
was their
evidence that they
choice.
did it under duress. There's no evidence that. The beating could have been seen as that, I suppose, if you want to be fucking dumb about it.
You know what I gotta say about all this? I don't know where it's gonna head, but you gotta respect the hustle.
The hustle is impressive. This is women set up
Respect. She had a product.
infrastructure.
She pitched it. She sold it. People were like, "Yeah, dude, cure my depression by spraying shit up my ass." And they gave her money. So you got to respect the hustle in that respect.
Yeah.
She's probably a bad person, but Hey,
and it's ultimately very
capitalism,
sad.
folks.
To tell you, that's what's kind of behind a lot of these. Like I said, it's like the Angels of Mercy like to assign a higher thing of like these people were sick, they were dying. I was just there for it. You know, that's kind of the line you get sold a lot with people who tend to be like nurse killers and doctor killers and stuff like that. But in reality, it ends up being something much more basic, like I want to get off to this or I want to take your money. You know, those are always the two big things. You know,
Yeah, it's always sex and money.
it's always sex. It's like Oscar Wilde said, everything on earth is about sex, except sex. Sex is about power. Was that a weird time to cut to camera? I don't know.
It's only when Colin does it.
So she gets convicted of manslaughter, which I think it's silly she just didn't get straight up convicted of murder. She got second-degree manslaughter, too, which is less time served. She served 4 years, and then the governor of Washington totally pardoned her. It wasn't even like she got out on parole or probation. It was just the governor was like, you're fine.
Did she have shit on him?
Oh, I didn't think of that. Very possible. Like he sent an unruly daughter to her.
Yeah, or she cured his depression.
Ooh. I didn't
If you
even
know what
think
I
of
mean.
that. Yeah. Oh, with
Squirt.
okay.
Or with the beating.
Yeah, we're at the beating. Yeah. The starving.
That's a weird treatment for depression. I'm just going to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, when I'm depressed, I want to eat a whole lot. I don't want to be told
Yeah.
not to eat anything. I think that would just make it worse.
Yeah, I get very depressed if I don't eat.
I'll tell you. But anyway, she moves all the way over to New Zealand. She's allowed to move to New Zealand, which you'd think there would be some kind of weird things. But she moves over to this remote part of New Zealand, and she starts the process of opening another starvation sanatorium. There are people giving her money again in New Zealand for this treatment. So much so, it starts to dwindle, business starts to die off, and she starts getting ill just because of old age. So she starts doing the treatment on herself. Just getting a boyfriend to kick the shit out of her and blow water up her ass and not eating anything.
Which shows she truly believes in the treatment.
Yeah, she died from it. Like, you don't meet many serial killers who kill themselves in the manner they killed everybody else.
Yeah, she put her ass where her mouth was.
Yeah. Yeah. So later, like I said, died using that. But let me ask you a quick question before we move on to this game, Mike. How would you like to die in New Zealand?
That'd be a great place to die.
Yeah, wouldn't it? It's beautiful here.
Were you saying, like, how would I
How?
like to die
Yeah, what's
in
the
New
method?
Zealand? I'd get raped by a hobbit.
I knew something's going to be a hobbit. That's not usually straight up. That's a lot of hobbits would need to be on you.
Yeah, gang raped.
Jesus, dude.
Yep, this is live stream.
Oh, the hairy feet. The hairy feet is all I can
And
think of.
Gandalf would be cucking in the corner
Yeah, he'd just be back.
with his big staff.
You shall pass.
There it is.
There we go.
You
we
all
got
should have
there.
laughed more at that. That was funny.
we got there. Funnel into the seats. Don't be standing back there like a couple of looky-loos. Get up in here. Get close. Get mushy. All right, let's do a game. You want to play a game with me?
Yeah.
Well, that's the story of Lindy Hazard. Let's clap for Hazard.
Yeah, give it up.
Yeah, give it up for Linda.
For Miss Hazard.
Listen, Linda. Listen. Remember that kid? Remember that Listen, Linda kid?
Listen. Nope.
Oh, it was an internet thing. Anyways, we got this game. It's kind of like two truths and a lie, but it's one truth and one lie. You understand? So we both have these crimes that Mike and I committed. We each have two. One of them is bullshit. The other one is something that we actually did. So we're going to read them both out to you, each of us, and then we're going to see if we can guess which one is true between us, and then we're going to ask the crowd. Make sense?
Okay.
I'll go first. I'll do mine
I forgot
first.
this was being live streamed when I wrote down my
Oh,
crimes.
yours are
so
super chill. Yours are super chill. All right, so let's start with mine. Which of these is true and which of these is lie? Okay. 1. I shot my 8-year-old stepbrother in the eye with an airsoft gun once.
Okay.
And number B is I got caught shoplifting gum and green tea because I heard that smoking green tea would get you high.
I think the first one is true.
You think the shooting the stepbrother in the eye?
Yes.
I should point out when he was 8, I was 16, so it's not as bad. Not as bad. It would be bad if I did this last week and he's 8 years old. What do you guys think? Which one did I do? 1 or 2? 1. Michigan thinks 1. You think 1? Do you guys all think that low of me? Because it's true, but I'm hurt. I wanted there to be more debate. They're just like, harm of a child, that's Colin. I didn't get caught shoplifting the green tea. I got away with it. And it, and it, and
too.
It doesn't get you high.
Nope, neither does catnip.
No, oh, damn. That was a sad day for me, too. You just want to enjoy your early out from junior high, and all of a sudden you realize Petco's not the plug.
Nope. You got to go find the real guy.
Shada. All right. Well, let's have you read these. You wrote on these jokes, so I might need some clarification. But go ahead and read those out.
Okay. So 1, selling illicit drugs. And 2, committing bank fraud.
Okay, so what do we define as illicit? Is this like, what is this
illegal drugs at the time?
Okay, so you're from here, so probably not weed.
Well, when I was in high school, weed was illegal.
Was it?
Yeah.
Damn. I guess it hasn't been legal that long. Okay. Selling weed in high school potentially versus bank fraud. Now, I'm hazy on bank. You're just saying, how do you do that? How do you do that? Yeah, how do you do bank fraud, Mike?
I feel like if I explain it with too much detail, one, I am live streaming a crime, and also it kind of gives away what is real or not.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna say 2. I'm gonna say it's bank fraud. I'm gonna say you do bank fraud.
Okay.
But I don't know how. What do you guys think? Bank fraud or drugs? You think it's drugs? All right, what do we got?
I always got away with selling illegal drugs.
Oh! So?
You've done that joke. I told you if you did a joke, I'd know what it was.
What?
If you did a joke, I'd know what it was. You've told this story before.
What, about bank fraud?
No, about selling drugs.
Oh. Yeah, but I never got caught for it.
Yeah, I know, but you told me.
Oh, yeah.
Why is it always this game that brings out the heckling? Why is it always this one that people are just like, I got heckled on stage by one of the comics who did this, just like, it's 2 truths and a lie. I'm like, but it's 1 truth, 1 lie. And then she was like, no, you got to do 2. And I'm like, don't make me write more. I did enough, damn it. But okay, so
okay,
you did both, but you got caught doing bank fraud.
Yes.
Okay, that's okay. So it's only a crime if you get caught to you?
Well, you see the same thing with stealing the green tea.
Oh, that's a good point.
I was trying to think of crimes, and
I
I
really
was like,
fucked up this
I've
premise
done a
of
lot
this
them.
game. I really made it too open-ended, didn't I?
Here's a funny, because I didn't want to really, once I realized it was streaming, I didn't really want to talk about the bank fraud to the internet. Here's a funnier thing that I did do, and we did eventually get caught for, was coupon fraud at McDonald's. My friend got like 3 coupons from football practice at Jesuit High School, and we went to Kinko's and tripled all of them and printed like 100 sheets of these McDonald's coupons for a free sandwich, fries, and a drink. And we used it for an entire summer and fall at the McDonald's on Beaverton Hillsdale Highway, to the point that eventually the lady that worked there was like, you guys are in here every day getting free Big Macs and fries and Cokes. What's going on? And we're like, we have a lot of football practice.
Got a carbo load. Yeah.
Yeah. And eventually they did catch on, and we're like, we're not taking these anymore. We've counted, and you've turned in about 300 of them.
Can you imagine if you had just spread it out a little bit more to different McDonald's? You could have kept that scheme going so much longer. Because a summer and a fall is still a really good run for one store.
Yeah.
You know, but if you think of it, could years could still be doing it.
Yeah, we were not as patient as we were stoned.
Oh, sure.
So, you know, the munchies, it's like, there it is, go get it.
There's always one McDonald's that you pick to hang out at, even though there's other ones elsewhere, but you're like, I like this one.
Yeah.
Because my weed dealer in high school worked at our local McDonald's, so he would literally give you a cup, an empty cup for the fountain with a fucking eighth of weed in it.
Nice.
And he'd just be like, have a nice day, sir. He tried to be so, tied up about it and professional.
Whoever hired him made a very good choice hiring
I tell you what. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, come smoke weed here and then come on back in. And
So if
then
it's the
purchase
guy,
some food.
yeah, it's the dude I'm thinking about. This guy got involved in a massive drug ring, like, because the guy he was buying stuff from was like hardcore, and he
Oh,
stiffed the
yeah.
dude on payment. And this kid was from a rich family, so his parents helped him evade justice. He got arrested, ratted out his supplier. Supplier's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And his rich parents are just like, you're staying in the Florida condo from now on. I don't know what's happened to him. That's the end of the story.
All right. Well,
That's the end of this segment. Make some noise for Michael Phelps. Oh, yeah. We'll see him more in a second. We're going to see him in a second. But let's bring up your third panelist. You guys ready for your third panelist? Yeah. Hell yeah. This person's a good friend of mine. I love seeing them on shows. Make some noise for Carlos Kareem Wyndham. Yeah, get in there. Get in there.
Good stuff.
Oh, I
Everybody else got a
also
hug.
the Fucks of Life. I forgot I could have plugged the Fucks of Life,
Well,
and I didn't.
I
Carlos
can.
hosts the
It's gonna
Fucks of Life
happen here on
Second Saturdays?
this Saturday.
Oh, there we go.
We're
Yeah.
gonna tell jokes here. It's
Tell
gonna be
jokes.
great.
Come back for the Fucks of Life. There's a flyer right over there. Come on out. Come on out. Make some noise for it. Local comedy. Yeah.
And
How we doing?
We won't make you anxious about how horrible the world is.
Well,
We won't. We
You
won't.
All right. All right.
Maybe I will.
I'm anxious by fucks
I've been known.
in
to.
life. Well, that's nice. That's nice. We got another. This one, this case that I picked for you, kind of breaks the mold of what we're talking about. And I've actually talked about this serial killer on the first ever Murder Casserole live that we did at Turn. But this is a different story. I found some other stuff for it. This lady has some incredible nicknames. I'm gonna say her nicknames first. We got the Giggling Granny.
That was my nickname in high school.
Ah, fuck yeah. The Lonely Hearts ad killer.
Wow.
Yeah. And Lady Bluebeard.
Lady Bluebeard.
Lady Bluebeard.
All right.
Because we know Bluebeard's the guy who kills all of
Yeah.
his wives and keeps marrying women to kill them over and over again. Yeah.
she's
So we're
All right.
talking about Nanny Doss. Has anybody heard of Nanny Doss? Oh boy, well this is going to be all new to you. It's nice. We love that. Well, let me ask you, Carlos. You ever poison your way through multiple marriages in the 1940s and 50s American South?
not in the 1940s and 50s.
Hey, be poisoning those white
Come on
Southern
now.
men.
Come on now. Come on.
Yeah, but this Nanny was born Nancy Hazel in Alabama, in Sand Mountain, Alabama, out
Okay.
there, down there. And she suffered a traumatic brain injury at 7 years old when a train she was riding in stopped short, and it smashed her fucking head into the bar in front of her.
As you do.
So a lot of times you talk about with serial killers, early age frontal lobe TBIs tend to be a
Right.
thing that controls empathy and whatnot. So also she grew up, she was the child of a family which was very repressive, old school. The dad wouldn't let her wear makeup or any kind of revealing clothes. But when Nanny told her dad that an uncle of hers had been molesting her, he blamed her.
Of
Didn't deny it,
course.
just said it's 'cause you're you. Not a great environment.
What are you doing being alive? in
What are
front
you
of a man?
doing?
How dare you?
What are
Men
you doing being by
can't.
that creepy family member I make you hang out with?
Control themselves? Why do you?
Tell you what.
God.
These young girls.
It's not well.
Uh,
it's it's not inconsistent.
No. It's very
It is-
consistent
it
with
seems
the
to be the culture of
whole
some
world.
people.
Yeah, no, and that's what's upsetting about these true crime cases. You see things in the childhoods that could have been anybody, but these are the people that went way off, way off. Anyways, so when she's 17, she gets married to a local kid named Charlie Bragg, who she'd known for all of 4 months.
Okay.
But it's because her dad approved, and she wanted to get out of her parents' house, so she's just like, fuck it, I'm going to marry this guy. Problem is, old Charlie had a mom who was widowed and refused to live out on her own, so she has to live with the newlyweds.
Okay.
And she does not like Nanny very much, not at all, not one bit.
Well.
So this is not a happy married life either, and from these years, for 4 years of marriage, they have 4 kids together, Nanny and Charlie, all the time living with Charlie's mom, and one day Charlie comes home to find that the 2 middle kids are dead. And Nanny doesn't seem that upset. And when asked what went down, she just goes, Oh, they got sick.
As
That happens. It's the 1920s in Alabama. Kids get sick and die. It happens.
we had 4 and now we have 2.
Now
so
we got
it's still
two. That's
batting
part of the reason you
50%.
have one every year to keep the farm workable. You know.
Kind of a win.
Yeah, and then after that, about a week after that, Charlie comes home to find his mother dead. Same excuse. She got sick. Whatever. So then Charlie straight up says this later after he describes it. He's like, I took our oldest daughter and I got the fuck out of there because I was terrified of Nanny.
That is
so he knew early on.
Early on, the third death is
The
the
third
early
death
on.
is early. It's
All right,
Alabama, Carlos.
okay.
I mean, I don't want to be regionalist.
Fair.
We
Fair.
love our Alabaman mushheads. If we've got any, I haven't looked at the numbers, but anyways. So have you ever wanted to kill an in-law?
Have I ever wanted to kill an in-law? Have I ever want? I'll tell you something. It has been 22 years since my marriage
Okay.
and 12 years since my divorce.
All right.
And when I married, I was told by the person I married that she did not like her mother,
Okay.
who then was at my house every other weekend. So when everybody else was going to let my grandmother die at the Christmas table, I did revive her. This is fact. This is a true thing. She was choking to death. Everybody just got up and kind of left.
Oh my God.
And, well, she, you know.
Okay. It was writing was on the wall.
And then I helped and resuscitated her. And then the ambulance picked her up and took her away. And my father said, "Why did you do that?"
This is a real fun. Doing this show then is a real fun. Like it's an exorcism of sorts, right?
It's
like
good times.
You
It's
know
good
that
times.
you're on the right side of these kinds of stories.
I tried.
Yeah.
I was on the side of helping.
yeah.
I
And
would've-
these ladies think they are. But basically, I think a running theme with Nanny Doss that you'll see is she thinks her version of Angels of Mercy is the person who's getting mercy is not the victims necessarily, but herself. I think she gets herself in a situation and says, if I don't kill these people, I'm going to be stuck here and I'm going to be miserable like I was when I was a kid. So then she hits with the rat poison. And creepiest part and the most southern grandma mother thing about this story is almost every one of these murders, there is a half-eaten dessert as the murder weapon. You know? That's
Very
pretty
Hansel
cool.
Gretel.
Oh,
That's
very
nice.
fun. But she was poisoning. She would make
Yeah.
like a pie or a batch of cookies. And
Gotta-
she'd be like,
gotta-
and then because that just looks like they're getting sick and falling over.
So
So
cookies.
Sick cookies. So after divorcing Charlie, Nanny started using these Lonely Hearts ads to find husbands. She had an obsession with like pulp romance novels and like lovers magazine things. So she would find in the back of these pulp romance novels like services you could write into and find a lover. You understand? So, but in between husbands 1 and 2, her
Do
oldest
they still
daughter.
have that?
I do it. Yeah, I keep it. I put the ads in. I
Shit.
just want all the
Alright.
letters, and then I don't send them out to anybody else. I just keep them for
So
me.
you've been standing me up. That's-
Yeah, I've been.
okay.
Yeah, well,
Alright.
I put you on the show. I mean,
Okay,
this is how we do. This is how I make love.
I like it.
Yeah, got to do it with mics and people watching.
And an axe behind you. Why is there an axe behind you? I don't like this.
Because, there's a myriad of reasons that
Alright.
none of which would make you feel better. But
I-
it is a murder. We also have
Good.
axes.
I get the pun, but that one could kill me and you're near it.
It's
Keep
plastic.
Going. Let's do more things.
It's a prop. It's a prop.
Yes, it is.
All
I'm
right.
sure.
So, in between husbands 1 and 2, Nanny's oldest daughter gets married and starts having kids. And her first grandson, they're in the hospital, and Melvina, that's the daughter's name.
Stop.
Is,
Stop. Melvina?
Melvina.
Melvina.
Like Melvin with an A at the end.
Melvina.
Yeah, Melvina. I love that name.
All right.
Melvina. No, her maiden name would have been Melvina Bragg.
Melvina Bragg.
That's a good fucking Southern name. The names in this episode are off the fucking chart. I love it. You got Honora. You got I love it.
The
Anyways,
Hazards.
the
We have 'em all.
Hazards. Come on. But also, they give the baby to Nanny in the hospital room, and then the baby stops crying after a minute, and Nanny just turns around and goes, "Oh, it's dead."
Melvina the baby.
No, Melvina is the mother of the newborn baby. So Melvina is Nanny's daughter. Melvina has a baby. Nanny is given baby in hospital room, turns around, turns back around, goes, "Oh, he dead." And then Melvina swore she saw her mother putting a hat pin back in her hair. So she thought for years she just took a hat pin out.
Jesus Christ.
Because she didn't like the baby's father. That's how trivial it had to be. It's just like, I didn't like the sailor who knocked up my daughter, and then she fucking killed the baby. And then Melvina has a couple more kids and often leaves them in her single mother Nanny's care. So Nanny's taking care of grandkids now. And then one day, after getting married again to this guy Bob Harrelson in Alabama, who she met through a Lonely Hearts ad.
Bob
Bob Harrelson, they seemed nice. He was a hard drinker, but he was nice enough to her. They got along fine for about 10 years. But in that 10 years, Nanny's babysitting 2 more grandsons, and what happens when Melvina comes to pick them up? Oh, they both got sick and died. Or, I'm sorry, just one of them. One of them got sick and died. So now her kill count is 2 of her own kids, 1 mother-in-law, 2 grandsons, all right? All people she is connected to. This is weird for serial killers. Generally, you want to kill people you don't know, which is why I haven't responded to your ads. Because that way the trail is harder to follow. You're supposed to laugh at that, guys. This is a comedy show, all right? But
They're
anyways.
tensing my tightening sphincter. That's what's happening.
So Bob Harrelson, they moved to Florida, and eventually he turns abusive, starts beating and assaulting Nanny. So she one day puts rat poison in his corn liquor.
Good.
Yeah, because he used to go out in the bushes, stash jars out there to drink, when she would get on his ass. And she just found one of his hiding places, dumped some arsenic in there. Oops.
I have never bemoaned a single married woman murdering their abusive husband. I find
that's
that
the
to
thing.
be
It's kind of understand when it's the husbands. It's kind of it's get it, girl. Like Yas Queen.
delicious. Farrah Fawcett
It's
lighting
the
her
kids
husband on fire.
that I have a problem with. They didn't do anything to you except for be loud.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's a victim of her time and a traumatic brain injury. But she was crafty, little cuss. But in between, Nanny also she moved to she married this guy in North Carolina, Arlie Lanning. He ends up dead as well. All right, he was not an alcoholic, but he did cheat on her.
Why do white people come up with names like this?
I know.
What the fuck?
By the way, that's
Arlie
not
Nanny?
Arlie Lanning. That's not the letter R and then the name Lee Lanning. It's Arlie is his first name, Arlie. Like a nickname for Arlen, I guess maybe it could have been. And then Lanning. Too many L's. I don't like Arlie Lanning. It doesn't roll. It doesn't roll.
Sounds very
Arlie Lanning.
drunky.
Yeah, he's from North Carolina. So he ended up spooky. So Arlie ends up dead. Arlie Lanning ends up dead, and his house ends up burnt down because he didn't leave it to Nanny. He left it to his sister. So she fucking burnt the house down before left. Meets another husband through a Lonely Hearts ad. This guy's name is Dick Morton. Salty Dick Morton.
Dick Morton.
They moved to Emporia, Kansas. He's actually pretty nice. She gets tired of him and poisons him.
Sure.
Pecan pie is how he went down because she said it was his favorite.
Yeah, would have done it to
So,
me
you
too.
know what? I mean, this is a situation. So, but in between that, her infirm mother, Nanny's mother, has to move in with them, and her sister Dovey, who also has some kind of degenerative illness like MS or something. So, yeah,
Wait.
Dovey and
Dovey?
Nanny. Dove with
Okay.
IE. Yeah.
All right. Okay, Dovey, Nanny.
Dovey Hazel.
Harley.
And they move in together. She poisons both her mom and her sister. Again, it all looks like natural causes. This is how easy it was from the 30s to the 50s to kill somebody and then just move to another state. And also, every time she's moving, she's getting married. So people are just not looking at that. And she's got a different name. So if anyone's like, I remember Nancy Bragg from Alabama, she killed she killed 2 of her kids and her mother-in-law. So it's like, we don't know her here.
Never heard of her.
We know Nanny Lanning.
We know Nanny Lanning.
We know Nanny Morton.
Don't know.
We know,
don't know
all
Nancy
the different
Bragg.
ones. So I guess also her last marriage is to a former preacher, Samuel Doss of Tulsa, Oklahoma, who, fun fact, lost his entire first family to a tornado.
Wow.
I think that means they were killed in a tornado. I would like to think a tornado just hit town and he didn't see them again. He was like, well, they're gone. I would like to think that was the case. Like the wind took them.
Just up in the airs.
It's God's will. So I guess at what point does this get easier? That's my question for you. At what point does it killing all of the... I guess once you've killed like 2 husbands, the next one's just like a drop in the bucket, right?
I would imagine after the kid, the husbands aren't shit.
Yeah,
By the
and,
time
like,
you're on the second, third husband. who
Once
gives
you
a fuck?
justify killing like kids, I think it's easy to... Any wrongdoing your husband does seems like good reason for
You
murder.
made the kids. They
Yeah.
came from your balls.
Yeah,
so
see, that's the
this
thing.
is you too.
I don't like you. But her husbands get better as she goes, and she starts killing them quicker. So that's how you see how much easier it gets for her. Because Charlie Bragg, not a good setup. She doesn't kill him. First one she lets go.
Okay.
She just lets him. He leaves. I think she would have gotten around to killing him probably. But Harrelson, abusive, kills him. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Arlie, kind of a drunk, kills him. Dick Morton, apparently very nice.
But he
Didn't
liked
cheat on her.
The pie, though, right?
But he loved pie. I guess that's the reason.
You gotta go.
Samuel Doss, all he did was he didn't like that she liked romance novels and shit, so he burned them all. He burned her escapism.
Oh, well, that.
Yeah,
he's
that's
gonna
bad.
Die.
That's
he's gonna
bad.
Die.
He's the other end. The other ones were all drunk, philandering
Yeah.
assholes, devil's men, as you
Yeah.
would say. And this one's a preacher who's
I've
like,
often said that.
yeah.
Devil's
So, 2 sides of the same coin, I'd say. Anyways, so Doss comes down with flu-like symptoms. They take him to the doctor. He recovers. 2 days after they send him home, he's dead.
This sounds like this. This sounds like everybody that Diddy ever dated going through this shit. I don't know what happened to the ex-wife.
I
Whitney
plead the
Houston was
fifth.
there at the party, and then she was.
Yeah. So a local doctor in Tulsa who knew Samuel Doss was like, this isn't right. When I discharged him, he was healthy. So he orders an autopsy, and they find his gut is just chock full of chocolate chip cookies and arsenic.
Hey, now.
Yeah.
Hey, now.
Nanny's getting it. Getting the cookies, the pecan pie. Yes. So she confessed eventually when they sent the
Dessert
cops
must
on
have
her.
sucked so bad to take one bite of that and be like, more.
Yeah, no, right.
Like old timey dessert back then could not have been good.
I mean, she is from the South, which I have to imagine makes her baking pretty good. Pecan
did
pie?
she have a slave?
I don't think so.
Well, who the fuck do you think taught y'all to cook? I'm
no.
sorry.
All right. Bump the mic. Yep, you're right. You got me on that one. You got me on that one. Pretty spooky. Hell yeah.
spooky.
Pretty spooky. Arlie Landis. But anyways, Nancy confessed after being arrested to 11 murders. She could 4 of her
Okay.
5 husbands. Like I said, 2 grandsons, 2 children, her mother, her sister.
So all
1
3 of
mother-in-law.
these mass murders just confess to the shits.
Yeah, usually when Linda Hazard didn't think she was doing anything wrong.
Right,
She
right, right.
sidestepped where she was just like, I was helping them and they happened to die.
Okay.
This one, the other 2, yeah, once they get caught, they do it. Nanny recanted her confessions later.
Okay.
There's you can find it on YouTube. There's an interview with her in prison,
Oh,
and her
fuck.
accent is so fun. She doesn't say yes sir or no. She says yazer, yazer,
Yazzer.
yazer.
Yazzer
Did you
ID.
kill those women, Mrs. Doss?
No,
Nah,
sir.
sir. My lawyer told me to say I did,
Nah, sir.
but I actually did not. She's very.
Wow.
I like watching her. She's fun. She's
fun.
I put her on the interview on to fall asleep sometimes. It's sonorous Southern accents. But she later recanted. But the question is like I said, how does this make her an angel of mercy? Because it's not like she took people who were close to death and said, "I'm going to let you out of your suffering." And it's not like she was gaining a little bit financially from these, but not a whole lot. I think it's literally more. They will hurt me, and I will be miserable if I stick around with them. So it's just easy. Once she killed the first couple kids and the mother-in-law, I think it was after that. Anybody who presented an inconvenience to her that was close to her, she's like, oh, I can get away with this.
That's badass as fuck.
Because nobody wants to prosecute a widow. They're like, oh, she's so sad. Her husband died. It's
You know what I mean?
kind of like with Plain Jane. It's like oh, must have died, broken heart.
And you said that okay, no, she was not killing rich people. These people.
No,
were
these
not-
are all
didn't have
pretty
money.
poor. I think Samuel Doss was probably the most rich one, being the
Alright.
the preacher. But all the other, they're all very working class, like Southern folk, and she was poor as fuck growing up. Poverty breeds crime. So after she gets sent to prison, and she becomes the prison mom All the other female inmates in this Oklahoma females prisons like are calling her mama and stuff. She's like Queen Latifah was the head matron. She was in Chicago. You know what I'm talking about?
Right. Yes,
Mama
I do.
Morton.
I
They
do.
call her
I
Mama,
do.
but she wasn't a prisoner. She was like a guard. But at any rate, she was like, they called her Mama, and she led knitting circles. She led prayer circles. And they let her have TV in the community room. Well, guess what her favorite shows were? Not soap operas. She loved true crime coverage. She watched it religiously.
Wow.
Between watching religious services on TV, and she eventually died of leukemia in that prison in 1965. So, Carlos, final question for you on this.
Okay, ask it to me.
Who would you want to be your prison mom?
Ooh.
Like famous,
Ooh.
alive or dead, who do you want to be the lady like holding over you in prison? That's like, don't worry, sugar. She's giving cigarettes to the guards. You know, she's greasing everybody's hands.
Oh my God.
Who's
If I
that
could-
person for you?
If I could bring my best friend in, then that would be the shit. Mixed Dahlia
Yeah.
Bell.
Oh, Mixed Dahlia
Dahlia's
Bell would be a
gonna
good
be-
prison mom.
Yeah, she's my prison mom.
Yeah, that nobody would
Yeah.
fuck with you with Mixed Dahlia Bell,
No.
because she would just have them endeared
No.
and laughing after that,
And
and
that-
terrified.
terrified and terrified.
Yeah.
And there would be blowjobs aplenty.
Oh,
So I'm into it.
it's like you know how Pablo Escobar had the plato o plomo,
right. Yes.
you know,
Yeah,
silver
yeah.
or lead. Mixed Dahlia's is head or shiv.
There it is.
Like it's like I can suck your dick or I can stab you to death and you'll bleed out slow. Which one you want? Mixed Dahlia Bell. I think that's pretty
That's
on
gonna be
point.
my prison mom.
I think
and,
that's on
and
point.
Mixed Dahlia Bell will be here with me for
Fucks of Live this Saturday here
Look
at
at that.
Covert. 4 p.m.
Look at that.
4 p.m.
Look at that. 4 p.m.
4
4
p.m. Beautiful.
4 p.m.
4
4
p.m.
p.m. 4
All right,
p.m.
let's do some true crime trivia.
All
with
right, let's
you,
do
and
it.
then
Here
we'll
we
move
go.
on. All right, so I got a few good questions. This is our trivia. We call it trivia. Yeah. All right, so what Oscar-winning actor played killer nurse Charles Cullen in the Netflix movie The Good Nurse? This was in the last year or two, all right? I'll give you examples, don't worry. Was it A, Eddie Redmayne, B, Russell Crowe, C, Rami Malek, or D, Gary Oldman?
What the fuck? Wait. Okay. Ask the question again. Wait.
Okay.
Who did what now?
What Oscar-winning actor?
Oscar
So
winning.
the options
Okay.
are actors who have won
All right.
Oscars.
Go
Which
ahead.
of them played the real-life killer nurse Charles Cullen? He was
All right.
a Munchausen by proxy guy.
Okay. Now let's take the rapist out, and the other three people were.
Who's the
That,
rapist?
that's Russell. You said
Russell Crowe?
Yeah. No, he's out. So
okay.
who the other ones?
Eddie Redmayne,
Okay.
Rami Malek, Gary
Uh-huh.
Oldman.
I know Rami Malek won. Gary Oldman seems like he should have, but I don't think so. So
Yeah,
I'm going,
they didn't win for
I'm
this.
going
None of them
Rami-
won for this role.
Rami Malek, I'm saying.
You going with Rami Malek? What do you
yeah.
guys think? Do you have a guess, crowd? Yeah.
It's icky.
It's A. It is. It's Eddie Redmayne. It's Eddie
Hey,
Redmayne.
who's
yeah. He's the guy who won an Oscar for playing Stephen Hawking, and then he played a trans woman, and then he did all the J.K. Rowling stuff
Oh, I
after that.
love that.
Yeah, he went
Oh.
backwards.
Just more cis people playing trans people.
Yeah,
please,
yeah.
If we could.
And I'm done with British actors.
Just period.
Well, a lot of them are pretty good. They have more nationalized theater over there, so they get better
Yeah.
training, I think. But anyways, let's move on. So, In Cold Blood, the seminal true crime nonfiction book, you're familiar with
yes.
it, yes?
Okay, here
Written
we
by
go.
Truman Capote, released
That's
in
right. Very
1966.
Nice man. He's a very nice
He's a
man.
very, Perry Smith. The
I
eyes,
find it very interesting that this
the eyes of Perry Smith I've always found very fascinating.
Clearly, nobody else here knows what the
I-
fuck we're doing right now. I want
know
us
what,
to
Carlos?
both stop this.
I don't even fucking care.
Well,
I don't
fucking-
even.
Frankly, I would very much like to let the ladies know.
The miracle of In Cold Blood is that it's a novel a non-fiction book that I do not exist in.
I'm not there, DC, but I'm there.
I also wrote most of To Kill a Mockingbird.
It turned into a New York Jewish woman at the end there.
I wrote in To Kill a Mock.
I don't know. I'm not going to keep doing. I'm not going to. All right. What state is that book set in? That's what the whole question is building up to.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So that book is set in a
okay.
state. It's a Midwestern state. Was
Yep.
it Nebraska,
Nip.
Ohio,
Nip.
Missouri, or Kansas?
Fuck. I thought you were going to say Indiana. God damn it. Nebraska.
In Cold Blood, yes.
Missouri. What are Kansas?
Ohio or Kansas.
I am going Nebraska.
That is incorrect. It's Kansas.
Well.
Yeah, Holcomb, Kansas. Nebraska's Charles Starkweather. That's what the Bruce Springsteen album's about.
I was gonna say that.
Was that the next one?
I was gonna say that.
Well, that's my next question. I just gave it
Bruce
away. Fuck.
Springsteen and the other.
Oh,
thing you said.
did you? This is
I
a weird
know all of
detraction.
that.
So that's the only Bruce Springsteen album I like is Nebraska because he talks about killers in it and it's fun. They're making a movie with the guy from The Bear, that hot little rat-faced twink, that Jeremy Allen White, and he's playing Bruce Springsteen during the making of that album. And that album was just made Bruce Springsteen all depressed in a hotel by himself with an 8-track recorder. So it's just going to be that little weirdly ugly hot man with the knives from TV and the tattoos as the boss.
I just
You blacked it. This is an extremely white factoid.
I know
I'm so
nothing
sorry.
about white culture. I don't know. I've heard
Jeremy
I've heard
Allen
of
White.
The Bear.
Yeah, The Bear. It's
very popular.
Minimal acting for a lot of awards.
Very popular thing I've heard.
That show's fucking stupid. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna get into it
that
now.
show got worse with every episode that came out.
How many seasons has it now?
3. Which is like
All right.
2.99 too many for me. Anyway, last question. Which national park, Carlos, has a 50-mile stretch in it known as the legal murder zone? This is a real thing. Is it A, Yosemite, B, Yellowstone, C, Rocky Mountains, or D, the Great Smoky Mountains?
Okay, so first of all, it's not the Rocky Mountains. I'm from there. Why is there a legal murder row?
Legal murder zone? I think it has something to do with laws in terms of what is federal and state land, and also there is some, I believe, some tribal affiliations going on in there.
Yeah. No. Okay. All right. So, as a black Pueblo,
Okay.
I will guess everywhere. All of the above is all of the above one of them.
I mean,
Anywhere
kind of.
south of the Canadian border.
I mean, there's
That
quite a
it?
bit in Canada too.
But I don't live there, so
Yeah, good
you know,
point. Good point. Good point.
I can only worry about the imperialists here.
Yeah.
So where was it?
It's Yellowstone.
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 Okay.
The one where that TV show is set with Kevin Costner and.
Again, you're gonna say some white shit to me.
I
What are
know
you
it's the
doing?
whitest show.
Jesus
it's the,
Christ,
it's just-
Kevin Costner?
Kevin Costner in Yellow.
Man, fuck you.
Carlos Kareem Wyndham, everybody. I've never had a better exit from the panel. That was pretty spooky. Pretty spooky. All right. That's the panel part of the show. Everybody make some noise for your panelists and for the murder. Murder, murder, murder. Casserole. Casserole. That doesn't work like that. We could have had it, but I'm gonna say goodnight to the people on the live stream because they don't want to watch us do comedy. Hey, you down there, thanks for tuning in, and we'll